Hi everyone, it's Treva, and for today's Website Wednesday, we're going to talk about your brand or your brand identity. And I know this is a hot topic, and it's also where a lot of us get stuck, especially when we're first starting out our business. So the goal is for me to share some tips and nuggets of information that will help you make progress if you're stuck. Even if you're a seasoned business owner, your brand is still something that you should revisit from time to time to ensure that it still coincides with your business goals. So first, before we get started, let me say that the topic of branding is a huge one. So of course, we won't cover it all here today, but I'm going to teach today is just one of the aspects of your brand. But for me, I think it's very important and foundational piece of your brand. So first of all, your brand identity consists of your business name, your design, for example, your websites, business cards, etc., your logo, and lastly, your emotional connection or your brand personality. And to me, this last piece, your emotional connection or your brand personality, is really the foundation of your brand identity. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So before we start looking at all the fun stuff involved with branding, like your colors, your fonts, your logo, and your website, and all those things, you really need to understand your positioning or your emotional connection. Because without having a grasp on this, your fonts, colors, logo, and website really don't have a purpose or a meaning to your potential clients. Because as they say, especially in this online world, people buy from people, not colors, fonts, or logos. People need to connect with you and to see the value that you provide them. So what we're going to do is play a little game. I'm going to mention a few well-known entrepreneurs, and I want you to think about what emotions or personality traits come to mind when I mention them. So up first we have Miss Marie Forleo. So what kind of adjectives or emotional traits or personality traits come to mind with her? Maybe some words like classy, down to earth, or teacher. Next, we have Oprah Winfrey. So for Oprah Winfrey, maybe words like trusting, nurturing, or authority may come to mind. And lastly, for Steve Jobs. For him, when you think of Steve Jobs, maybe you think words like innovative, technical, or industry leader. Now, other words may have come to mind for you, and that's totally okay. The point of the exercise is just to show that I'm sure when I said these names, you didn't think of fonts, color palettes, or logos. You were probably more drawn to their personality traits and values or the ways that they can help you. And that, my friend, is the foundation of your brand. So when someone visits your website, it should evoke some sort of emotion. You don't want them to land on your website and have no opinion about who you are or how you can help them. So now it's your turn. So for you, what words describe you or your brand? And what feelings or traits do you want to portray to your audience? One way to help you figure this out is by getting input from others, because sometimes the way we view ourselves is not necessarily the way that others view us. So sometimes it's really good to get things from someone else's perspective so you can see how your potential clients may view you. So your homework is for you to reach out to some family members, friends, or colleagues and ask them to give you 3 words that they feel describes you. And then I want you to think of 3 words or emotions that you want your brand to portray. And then see if you can mesh those into the emotional connection or brand personality that you want your brand to represent. So that is my quick little training on your the emotional connection or your brand personality. So if you have any questions or comments or want to talk about this even more, feel free to leave your question and comments below. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.